even if he was at home, everybody's house from their house to here is less than 4 minutes.
Like, yeah.
Well, we can give him 7:03, how's that sound?
Caught at every light
He's probably at the gas
where
station.
that construction traffic.
What else can we talk about? City Hall looks nice with the grass and the landscaping.
Right?
You know, I thought I thought when they just all council would do it, you know, but someone volunteered. Someone came in here, right?
The
DDA's landscaping company.
We could make this the Carlos.
that Z,
Easy Landscape.
the ones that do downtown. It is part of downtown.
Should we just tell Don that we're waiting on the mayor?
The
I agree.
fiasco that they created out there.
Does the camera have to be on if we're waiting?
Is it on right now?
I think so.
I think it is. Somebody should just say, please stand by. It's absolutely crazy.
But call the meeting to order and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I was going to say, we can do that.
Bang the gavel. Let's hear you bang that gavel.
Yes. That's a hero.
Okay.
It's 7:01. We'll call this meeting to order. Mayor Higgins is on his way. He should be here any time, but right now let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have invocation today? Reverend,
I don't see where,
yep, thank you. Want to say your name and what church you're from, please?
My name is Pastor Frank Draganik, and I'm from Harvest Community Church. Let's pray together this afternoon, this evening. God, we thank you that we can come and we can make our city better. We thank you for the citizens that showed up. We thank you for the council people that give of their time. And God, we just pray that your presence be known today. We pray that your presence fill this place in such a way that everything that we say, everything that we do tonight would be honorable to the position that we've been given, would be honorable to the city that we live in, but most importantly, be honorable to you. God, we just thank you. We praise you, and it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. All right, roll call of officers, please. Ms. Carey.
Certainly, Councilpersons Bear is not
He's
here.
called in with
Yes,
flu.
yes. Dupre is not here. Ross?
Here.
Salcido?
Here.
Zor?
Here.
Tobin?
Here.
And Mayor Higgins is not here yet.
All right, moving along with the agenda. Mayor's remarks. Of course, I'm not prepared to give any remarks. Fall is here. I'm sure Mayor Higgins will probably give a report under oral reports. And I guess we'll call this meeting for a public hearing of the CDBG and CAPR, CAPR. Who'd want to rise and give us a report?
Joan Hennessy from Hennessy.
Yes, Ms. Hennessy, you want to say your name? When you get up to the podium.
Hello, so I'm Joan Hennessy. I'm from Hennessy Engineers, and we act as your consultant for the CDBG program. The CAPR, as it's known, which is a Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, is for the previous program year, which went July 1st, 23 to June 30th, 24. The city spent approximately $1 million during that time on eligible activities, which CDBG is mainly for low to mod income improvements. This amount of this year is considerably higher than last year, which had approximately $600,000 spent. A couple of the major highlights of the report are the largest expenditures were on infrastructure projects, parks and recs, street improvements, and replacement of the library roof, adding up to over $500,000 in improvement. In addition, the city also spent over $125,000 improving public services throughout the city with the help of nonprofits, community policing, crime awareness, and flock cameras. The third program that I want to mention where the city is always supported quite heavily is the housing needs of the community with the residential home rehab improvements, spending over $190,000 on improvements and $26,000 on housing stock improvements. The report, the CAPER report in its entirety, will be posted on the city's webpage from 9:25 till 10:10, and we will also take public comments during that time as well as any questions today.
Get a report on the public.
Sorry, folks, I had a flat tire. Got here as soon as I could.
No problem. Glad you made it.
I don't have any questions.
BDG.
Yeah, so she's already given her. No questions. You need to see if the council has anything to
Does
say.
anybody have any discussion or any questions for? Okay, can we have any, is there anybody who has any public comment? Okay, with that, we'll move for adjournment.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to the consent agenda.
Yeah, well, we could, well, I want to do it up front, so we'll do it up front right before we.
Do you want to go back to mayor's comments, or do you want to just?
Yeah, I got some quick things I'd like to go over. Actually, I'd like to do a little change from the agenda tonight. Anyway, real quick, I'd like to ask John Gazoo to please come up. Head of our DPS. And we've been working a lot on the flooding area, and you had some comments, and I'd like to, things that happened this week, we've made a good stride forward, and I'd like the public to know about.
One of the things that we actually found about 2 weeks ago, but we were able to correct it this past Thursday, is, I don't know if anybody knows this or can picture this, but there is a storm drain called the LeBlanc Drain that traverses across the city, and it picks up all the storm. It also picks up stormwater from Allen Park. And we found where we had one of our pipes in the day back in the mid-'80s, it had a bulkhead separating the storm from entering into the sanitary system. And we found that bulkhead was failing. And we figured that it was probably putting 500 gallons a minute into our sanitary system. And the complexity with it is how to reestablish that bulkhead under pressure. And we were lucky enough to find somebody that had the wherewithal to do it. And the biggest problem was then trying to get the appropriate product that would work under the pressure and capture and put a hold on that pressure long enough to rebuild that bulkhead, and it was successful, which I thought was phenomenal, because I've tried to do other bulkheads like this. This was a 60-inch bulkhead, which is a very large pipe, and it had a lot of stormwater pressure on it, and we couldn't have put a plug in to help us resolve that bulkhead issue. But this individual did a marvelous job, and he did it in probably about 5 hours, which I thought was exceptional. That's the biggest I've got right now.
I just want to say thank you for the, Hennessy got to work, found a place, they gave us a report, and then our guys got out there, and you did some hard work on this. And I want to thank you from the city, because this is something that should not be allowed to happen anymore. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and we're glad that we were able to successfully correct that issue.
Thank you.
I lost a lot of sleep trying to figure out how to do it under pressure at the depth that it was at. But thank
To
you.
the chair, though,
Yes, go ahead.
There's still, I mean, that didn't correct everything,
No,
correct?
no, sir, that was just a piece of the
One
puzzle.
thing that you found that you were able to fix.
That
right
is
away.
correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Other thing I would like to mention really quick, the Petrie family has meant a great deal to Lincoln Park over the years. And Debbie Petrie, who has sits on our commissions and has done a lot of work for us over the years, her father has passed away. I'd just like to let everybody know, Petrie's, who ran the bike shop for 100 years, who gave back to Lincoln Park over and over and over again, and will be sorely missed by the Lincoln Park. I see that our museum caretaker is here. If he'd like to step up and tell us some things that he's got going on, I know he's got some things to tell us about.
One thing, I brought posters for all the council members, and this is yours, Mayor Higgins. So I thought I would at least talk for a moment about the event coming up in October. I know that you've mentioned this at council meet before. So we're excited, obviously, to have a celebration in the community for a band from Lincoln Park that's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and that is the MC5. Some of you will remember the band, and some of you don't remember the band. They started out in the 60s, and they were together for 7 years before they disbanded, and now they're being recognized by the Hall of Fame. It's been many, many years in the making, and now with this year, it's kind of bittersweet because all 5 members of the band have passed away, 2 this year. So none of them are alive to see the honor that's being bestowed on them by the Rock and Roll Hall. We're going to be doing a celebration here in the city of Lincoln Park. It will be on October 12th. At the Bandshell Memorial Park, starting at 3 o'clock until about 9 o'clock. And there will be bands, live bands, as well as a disc jockey. There will be vendors who have been long associated with the MC5, going back about 6 decades. Folks that worked with them on art posters of the time period. So a lot of that will be available for people to look at and possibly purchase. The book release is taking place on the 11th. It's the night before this event. It's a new biography of the MC5, and it will be released at an event at the DIA on Friday the 11th, and then we will have additional books here to be purchased at our event on the 12th. I mainly wondered if there were any questions about this. I know you've brought it up before, and if there were any questions that you had for us that I could answer, I'd be happy to do so.
To the chair, Ron.
Yes,
One quick question. Will any family members of them
Yes,
be there?
yeah, 4 of the families will be represented at the event, possibly 5, but we know for 4 for sure, absolutely.
For putting
Yep,
this on.
yep. In fact, I should mention, that's kind of how this all started. We were contacted back in April, right after the Hall of Fame honorees for this year, for 2024, were released to the news. And so it was a bit of a surprise after 6 or 7 years of trying that the MC5 finally made it. And they're actually being honored for an award of musical excellence, which is pretty amazing in itself. It's special honors, and the families are, of course, over the moon about this happening finally. And it was Becky Tyner that came to us and wondered if there was some way that the family could do something here in Lincoln Park to honor the band. And so we talked about it, she and I, and came up with the idea of doing a tree dedication at the park near the Bandshell. So that's how this all began. This was just a tree to be dedicated at the Bandshell, which we are doing, by the way, and that will be part of this larger event. So it just grew into something a lot bigger, which is great because it's something that the whole community can now participate in. Tell your friends, bring your families out. It's really family friendly, even though I know some of the songs had some controversy in the old days. But do bring families out. We're going to have some food trucks and vendors, as I mentioned. A lot of music. And folks will be talking who knew the band. We'll have speakers there, guest speakers to share their memories of working with the band in the old days. So, like I said, it goes back about 60 years when they first formed up. So that's all I have, unless you have any other questions.
Remind everybody the date.
Saturday, October 12th, 3 p.m. at the Memorial Park Band Shell. And, come out and have a good time. We'll celebrate together.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for all that you do.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Jeff.
Also, speaking about music and speaking about good things that go on in Lincoln Park, we have the Black Box winner at the free concerts and at the band show all summer long. There's a black box that goes around through the crowd. Normally, I'll take it, or the hands of the city have been nice enough. We've been taking it through for the last couple years. And last year, we raised close to $10,000. This year, and the band that wins gets to open up next year. And the one the winner of this year was the winner last year as well, 2 years in a row. So Infinity and Beyond, it's a Journey tribute. Is anybody from the band here? I was told they would be here. I guess not. Well, I will have to deliver. But they get this very nice trophy. And let everybody know that in one night, they raised $964.88. And the Black Box Challenge, by the way, all that money goes to kids programs in the city through the Parks and Recreation. So it's a big help to the city. And thank them again. And with that, we resolved that the following items listed under the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and council. I am going to pull the claims and payable because there are some questions that have been already asked, so we're going to pull C. We'll approve the minutes to the regular September 9th, 2024. We'll approve the minutes to the study session for the charter review September 9th. And we will approve the Metro Act appropriation application, fiber.
I'll move.
Support. Councilpersons Tobin?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Zohr?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Your Honor, just for clarification, are we pulling it all together, or are we moving it to action?
We're moving it to action.
Thank you.
The next up will be our Parks and Recreation Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before we start, on the resolution page, there is a typo. It should be 43,000, not 40,000. Before you is award the bid for the replacement of the infrared heaters at the ice arena in the community center. The Parks and Recreation Department has received 5 bids for the replacement of the radiant heaters in the ice arena at the community center. The bids are listed below. After reviewing all of the bids, we have found that Allied Building Services was the lowest best bid, having met all of the requirements stated in the bid specifications. The budget impact funds will come from the city's capital improvement fund. It is recommended that Mayor and Council award the bid to Allied Building Services to replace the radiant heaters in the ice arena at the community center for a cost not to exceed $43,010. Whereas, you want me to read the?
Yeah, go ahead and read. I was
Okay.
making sure she was
Whereas the
okay.
Parks and Recreation Department has solicited bids for the replacement of the radiant heaters in the ice arena at the community center, and whereas after reviewing all bids that were received, it has determined that Allied Building Services has met all the requirements listed in the bid specifications. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council do hereby award the contract to Allied Building Services at a cost not to exceed $43,010. Funds to come from the city's capital improvement fund.
So move.
Support with the amendment?
Yeah, well, with the amendment. And then I'm going to ask, since they were not the lowest bidder,
Yep.
explain why they were the best qualified.
Okay. So Stewart Mechanical did not provide a bid bond, their licensing, product information, or the insurance as required in the bid specifications. Comfort Mechanical Heating and Cooling, again, no license was provided and no product information was provided. Detroit Boiler Company, no warranty of work was provided. Allied Building Services provided every bit of information that was required and then some. Service Refrigeration provided no product information, warranty information, their license. They did provide us an alternate bid for it for infrared heaters at a cost of $48,000. Also, Service Refrigeration is the company that handles our refrigeration from time to time for the ice arena, and they are the ones that installed the refrigeration system and the floors and the dasher boards, and so they are an ice rink company, and we do work with them,
Okay. Is
but
there
they
any-
were considerably much more.
Okay, is there any other questions?
Through the chair, what's the square footage of what you want to put in?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. We are going from 7 units. Currently, there's 7 units, or were 7 units.
7 baseboard units?
No, these are the radiant heaters that hang from the ceiling above the spectator seating.
Okay.
Okay? So currently, there is space for 7. We're downsizing because we did remove a section of bleachers way back in 2000, 2001. So there's no need for that 7th one. So we are downsizing to 6. And they're basically the same units that are already up there. They're just 25 years newer.
And do these units run to a boiler system?
No, these are gas-fired.
They're gas-fired?
Yes.
They're just such a different price in between all the costs. I mean, the Allied Building to Stewart Mechanical is almost double the cost. And I just wondering if maybe this should go back out to bid again to see if you can find a lower bid, if there's such a discrepancy in the costs, because that's a lot of money. Did Stewart, Comfort, and Detroit, did they all come out and look at what you were?
Yes.
What they did?
Yep.
And none of them had insurance, or they just didn't include it? in
They
the
did
bid?
not provide it.
You just didn't
Yeah.
include it in
Yeah,
the
they
bid?
did not include it, and it is stated in the bid specs that we were requiring a copy of their insurance.
Okay, thank you.
Lillian, you had a question? Okay. All right, with that, we will call for the vote.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Zohr?
Yes.
And Tobin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll call on the fire department.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Before you do this, I want to let everybody in the world know, congratulations are in order here. I found out today that the chief is now the chief of the chiefs of the area. You can explain exactly what that is, but I want to congratulate you on that.
I am a member of the DCC, so I'm on that board with the mayors, so I'll be part of the fire side of that board for the DCC. So that's what that'll be for.
That's a...
All right, so I'm here to award fire hose again. This is the last time I'll be coming here to award fire hose. So Lincoln Park Fire Department solicited a bid for fire hose. The fire department received 12 bids. This is through CDBG. I'm asking that the city or mayor and council bid the award to MES of Sandy Hook. Of the 12 bids, MES is the best bid to fit our department's needs. They have the best delivery time. Allied Fire Service, we bought fire hose the first time with them, and it's almost, it'll be 16 months before they were able to deliver this. So MES said that they could do it in 4 to 6 weeks, so it's a little bit more expensive, but it'll be here sooner, so that's why I went with it. The fire hose to be replaced is 16 sections, 50-foot sections of 1.5-inch tack line for high-rise packs for the senior center and stuff like that. We have special packs, hose that we take up into there. 30 sections, 30 50-foot sections of 2.5 supply tack line, and 40 50-foot sections of large diameter hose ply line. Cost of purchase of fire hose is $35,020. The funds will come from CDBG account 249-049-75504. It is recommended that the mayor and council adopt a resolution to award the bid to MES of Sandy Hook, Connecticut to purchase fire hose.
Thank you. Resolved, the mayor and council award the MES of Diefield, Connecticut, the purchase of the fire hose as our best qualified bidder that meets all the fire department's specifications and needs. Be it further resolved $35,020 of the funds to come from CDBG account 249-049-75504.
I'll move.
Support.
Any questions? Hearing none, we will go for a vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Zohr?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
The next award bid for rescue airbags. Lincoln Park Fire Department solicited bids for rescue airbags. The fire department received 2 bids, one from Allied Fire Sales, Paratech is the name of it, for $7,634, and the second one came from McQueen Emergency. Those are Vetter bags, be $8,020. The Lincoln Park Fire Department is requesting the mayor and council to award bid to McQueen Emergency of Delafield, Wisconsin to purchase Vetter rescue airbags. They are the best bid for the needs of the fire department. We currently use Vetter rescue airbags, and this would be a seamless transition due to familiarity and the knowledge of the airbags. The fire department received allocated approved funds from CDBG for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. The total amount of purchase is $8,020. Funds that come from CDBG account 249-050-7504. It is recommended that the mayor and council adopt the resolution to award bid to McQueen Emergency of Delafield, Wisconsin to purchase Vetter rescue airbags.
Resolved that the mayor and council award McQueen of Delafield, Wisconsin, the purchase of Vetter rescue airbags as they are the best qualified bidder that meets the fire department's specifications and needs. Be it resolved that $8,020 of the funds come from CDBG account 249-049-75504.
I'll move.
Support.
Any questions? Then we will call for the vote.
To the chair. Chief, you said it was 249-050, 7504.
249-050-75504. Is that right?
The resolution says 49th year.
Does it?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's right.
All right.
I'll check with Doreen in the morning before I print the minutes.
All right. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Good catch, Eric. Okay, call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Zohr,
Yes.
Salcido.
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Our DPS director is back up and ready to go.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm back up. Our subject is recommendation of award for the 2024 MDOT earmark road reconstruction. Background: on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park, Hennessy Engineers solicited bids for the 2024 MDOT earmark road reconstruction project from Fort Park East right-of-way to Fort Street West Road right-of-way. The project involves removing and replacing the existing pavement for the roads of Capon, Russell, Euclid, O'Connor, Warwick, Arlington, and Hanford. The bids were opened on Wednesday, September 18th, and the following 4 bids were received. First contractor is Mark Anthony Contracting, $1,298,972. Great Lakes Contracting, $1,302,471.95. DeMarco, $1,778,611.90, and Santos Cement, $1,833,278.83. Hennessy Engineers recommends awarding the project to Mark Anthony Contracting, Inc. because of their excellent road quality and ability to complete projects on time and within budget. Financial impact: the project cost is $1,298,972 plus 10% contingency for a total cost of $1,428,870. The funds will be funded by the MDOT road program account numbers to be determined. Recommendation is the Mayor and Council award the 2024 MDOT earmark road reconstruction project to Mark Anthony, Inc. And the accompanying resolution be resolved that the Mayor and City Council award the 2024 MDOT earmark road reconstruction project to Mark Anthony Contracting, Inc. Be it further resolved that the project cost is $1,298,972 plus 10% contingency for a total cost of $1,428,870 and will be funded by the approved MDOT road reconstruction project and number to be determined by the city manager and finance director, who is the same person.
I will so move.
Support.
Any questions? And we'll go for
Mayor Higgins,
yes.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Zohr,
Yes.
and Tobin.
Yes.
And we'll go on to the city manager's report.
No.
One last thing, just as a reminder, this will not cost the city any money because this is all road grant money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot because we pulled this back, so we have to go over the resolve that the accounts and claims payable presented by the Director of Finance and Operations be approved as the following. The warrant report, 4791,836.95. I'll move so we can get it on the table.
Support.
Okay. My question was the paying of the trash company. Are we paying the full bill? Tell me,
So
I want the
what
public to hear this.
what was presented tonight is the invoices for July and August. So we have been holding those invoices while we've sorted through some things. So ultimately, what we did at this point is we've deducted about $9,400 for the time that DPS spent going out and collecting yard waste on July 19th and 20th. So we did the calculations as to the time spent, the equipment costs, and we're charging them back for that. At this point, we are still trying to determine how to handle the delayed pickups. There's been some missed pickups that are ultimately picked up later, some blocks partially, some fully, and it's just kind of all over the place. So we're working with the city attorney, trying to come up with a good calculation on that and how we handle it, because it didn't affect everybody. It's affected some more than others. We're also talking to the auditors to see, can we do this? Because the fund does pay for the cost. And if there is any shortfall in the fund, it has to come back from the general fund. So we're looking at a few different things on what we can and cannot do legally.
Okay?
Through the chair?
Yes.
Lisa, I have a question. Since we withheld that payment until now, are we getting charged any late fees?
No.
Okay.
No.
Any other questions? Okay, I did that deliberately so that the public could hear what we were doing. Okay?
I just want to add that
Sure.
city shouldn't be paying late fees. I know you disagree with the finance director, but I always fight late fees, so. From the days of Blockbuster, so. I mean, seriously, the city should not be paying late fees.
Right.
Even if they're billed them, you tell them no.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I know residents are going to be wondering, when we do come up with a calculation for the missed pickups, and a lot of, they're not calling in their missed pickups. Some of them are multiple, some are calling them in. And we do come up with what we are not going to be paying them for this. They want to know, is it going to reflect on their bills, or is it just going to be reflecting on what we're not going to be paying the priority?
So at the end of the day, whether it's a credit directly or it offsets the fee as a whole, because each year the fee is based on what the charges are going to be strictly for the rubbish, recycling, Riverview landfill, all those items that go into the sanitation fund. So anything, whether there's a shortfall or an overage, it's all residents' money, so it's all tracked within that fund. So if there's additional money that's collected, it goes into the fund balance for this fund only. It can't be spent on any other purposes. So what can happen is if in years where we've spent less than we anticipated, the next year, then that would catch up and the fee wouldn't be raised as high. So it's kind of a give and take. But just to put it kind of in terms for the public, as far as this $9,400, that equates to about 60 cents per household. So unless there's a large substantial reduction in the bill, it's not really going to impact the pocketbooks, yeah.
And again, that's where it's really important that everybody reports and lets us know if they're being missed, or if their yard waste isn't picked up, their recycling's not picked up, their garbage isn't being picked. We need to know that so we can keep track of it.
Right.
Because if we don't have an accurate figure, then we are not going to be able to calculate this into what our recovery cost is with the company. So if we don't know, we can't do anything about it. So please report it.
And the contractor also has an allotted amount of time per every contract that we've had for rubbish. So once it's reported to them, they have a certain amount of time to get the garbage collected. That's when the penalties kick in, is if they're not doing that part, and we have to prove it as well. That's the really hard part.
Just like on many other issues, the city depends very much on the citizens. You are the eyes and the ears of the city. You have to let us know what's going on. We don't have somebody on every corner at every house. You have to let us know sometimes. So with that, I will call for the vote.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
And Tobin?
Yes.
And with that, we'll go to the city manager's report. No, we got another one. Oh, one of them nights. Oh, okay. Resolved that the mayor and council hereby appoint Melvin Gamez and Alex Barrows to the Downtown Development Authority to fill the vacant positions both to expire on 4/1/2026.
I'll move.
I support.
Call for the vote.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Soar?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes. Do we have any more sneaky
No,
ones?
now
No
you can-
more, are you sure?
City managers report.
Okay, now we'll go to city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few updates for you. First, I wanted to let you all know that the annual audit did start today, so the auditors are out doing some field work. They're kind of getting things amped up this first week, so it starts off kind of slow, and then they'll be hitting the ground heavy in the coming weeks. And then the city did receive notification last week that we are approved for another $6 million in SRF funding. $4 million of that is forgivable, so $2 million is what the city would have to pay back, so the rest is forgivable. Those projects under, thank you to John and Hennessy, they did a lot of work on applying for the grant. And a lot of communities, from what they said, John, I think we were the only downriver community that got any funding this time. Correct. So that's good. So projects under this grant must be used for improvements to the stormwater system. So we'll begin putting some documents together and getting paperwork all ready for that. And then work for the sign at the community center, Dennis said today, is going to start on October 8th. So they'll start with the footings and getting the old sign down, and then they'll follow up with the other 2 signs later in that week. And then we will be bringing at the next meeting authorization to go out to bids for the new website that we've been talking about. What we're going to do is we're going to send a survey out to mayor and council as well as staff members, and we'll put it up in the city's website and Facebook for residents if they want to fill it out. So we'll be looking for items like what does and doesn't work for you, what are you finding, what can we improve upon with the website. I know one of the big complaints I've always had is accessing it from my phone. It's not very user-friendly. So we'll be sending that out, and we'll kind of build it as we go into the bidding process and working with the new companies to see what they can offer and how we can improve that with our communication to residents. And that is all I have to report on tonight.
Through the chair, Your Honor, I guess I'll start off.
Yes.
Go back to priority and the garbage pickup. I know you're trying to get a deal on new bins, right?
Right.
So my question is, what's wrong with the old bins? I mean, because you want to purchase one for every household?
Right.
What are we going to do with the old ones?
So the old ones will be basically trash. So they will take away the old ones. So most of the containers that we have, we're seeing are broken. There's a lot of requests for new ones because the lids have broke or the wheels have broke off. We've had the good majority of them since we originally switched to Rizzo back in the day. So they're quite old. I know a lot of them have been replaced. That's the unfortunate part. But I think it would be a good thing overall to replace all of the carts. So I'll be bringing that information to council.
All right, my last follow-up is, you're right, some of them have broken wheels, broken lids. None of them say, some do say GFL, but most of them say Lincoln Park, and they got a number on it. Because wouldn't it be more cost-effective if we just replaced the ones that were bad? Are you looking at that, or are you just looking for?
We did talk about that. It's hard to get everybody to report to us which ones are bad, and a lot of residents don't interact with the city, so they may not report to us.
Very well.
So that's the hard part.
I look forward to your report then in a couple weeks. That's all, Your Honor, thank you.
Through the chair, if I could just add, the containers are recyclable, even though they're going to be trash. They are
Right,
recyclable.
right. Well, we had inquired as to whether is there any monetary value to them, but it doesn't appear so.
To the chair?
Yes.
Some of those containers, though, like large families, it's been an issue having an extra bin. Couldn't we let them keep the extra one just to?
That may be an option. That would be up to the contractor, whether they want the 2 different bins. I don't really foresee a huge issue with that.
Okay. Just checking.
Through the chair, I just recently got a new one, just before the transition. It's much smaller than the original one, but it's a good can. I would hate to have to give that one up, since it is new and in good condition, even though it's smaller. It's much easier to maneuver, I'll tell you that. But,
Yeah, and
so I don't think that we need to get rid of all of the cans, especially, we've been replacing them all along, so some of them got to be good. It's going to be hard to tell which ones aren't good, but at the same time, to just replace them all at once, we could probably find a way to do some cost savings.
Yeah, there's a few different options we can look at. Again, it's kind of, the hard part is getting the communication back to us as to who would or would not need a new can. That's going to be the really difficult part.
That is. It's going to be expensive, though, either way we do it, it's...
Through the chair.
Lillian has another question.
I do. Since we're talking about the cans, Lisa, could you please find out too, like, are they going to be able to repair them? Like if the wheel falls off or the lid gets broken? Or are they going to have to replace the whole can?
Right, so we would be doing it under the same arrangement we currently have, where it's a maintenance plan. So we're not taking on any of that responsibility. Otherwise, we would have to be responsible for delivering them to the residents each time, and we just don't have the staff to maintain that type of thing. So they would, once again, any repairs that need to be addressed, they would handle.
Okay.
Directly. So everything would be reported through priority. They'll replace the can, or if they can repair it, they would.
Okay.
You must know somebody, because I can't get mine replaced. All right, is there any other questions for the city manager? And if that case, we'll call the fire chief back up, and he's got a report for us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the Fire Department quarterly report. I'd like to start off by going over some response data. Run totals for the last 4 months is 2,351. EMS calls responded to is 1,743. Fire calls 50. I'm sorry. Building, we had 16 building fires, 11 vehicle fires, 18 rubbish or dumpster or grass fires, and 8 mutual aids. We went on 290 gas leaks, wires down, or carbon monoxide detectors going off. We had 63 false alarms or good intents. Mutual aid responses for the year, we've given aid to other communities 21 times and received aid from 85 times from other communities. We've had 1 civilian-related fire-related injury. The Fire Code Enforcement Team quarterly report, we did 236 inspections or certificate of occupancies. We investigated 29 complaints. We did 11 food truck inspections, and we gave out 253 smoke detectors. The Fire Code Enforcement Team currently has 6 members performing fire life safety inspections, ensuring all businesses in the city of Lincoln Park are safe for its citizens, patrons, and employees. Departmental training, each month every person in the fire department is required to complete training to continue education for their medical licensure through the state of Michigan. Also, there are new requirements for firefighters for the state of Michigan and the Bureau of Fire Services. Firefighters are required to complete 10 hours of training per year. The following are some examples of that training. We do 12-lead EKG, abdominal injuries, ALS and BLS, head injuries, acute myocardial infarction and STEMIs, narcotic abuse, understanding and fire fighting, basement fires, evidence-based structural firefighting, positive pressure attack, and coordination of suppression and ventilation in multi-family dwellings. There have been over 300 total man-hours spent on firefighter training this quarter. This doesn't include the countless hours the guys spend training at the station every day. There are 7 members on the Downriver Emergency Response Team. They train monthly with their respective teams. Currently, we have 3 members on the Hazmat Team, 3 members on the Arson Investigation Team, and 1 member on the Logistics Team. Operations, last year's AFG grant, we were able to purchase new nozzles and appliances. We came under budget for the nozzle grant, and I was able to amend the grant and purchase additional fire hose with the remaining funds for our regional partners. Some fire hose has come in and was placed in service this quarter. We increased our gallons per minute on attack lines from 140 gallons per minute to 175 gallons per minute. This helps put out the fire faster, and most importantly, it limits the amount of physical stress and toll it takes on the body during interior firefighting. Firefighter Jeff Alves has completed his 1-year probation. He's been a great addition. We are fully staffed at this time with 20 firefighters on suppression. I applied for 2 assistance firefighter grants this year, one SAFER grant. The AFG grants were regional grants with up to 11 downriver communities. We sponsored a portable radio replacement grant that will total $1.9 million if approved. We should know something in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I haven't received a letter saying that we didn't get it yet, so I am hopeful that we do get it. The other grant was sponsored by Wyandotte to purchase new fire hose. It was awarded to MES, and the order has been placed, and delivery will be in 6 to 8 weeks. The SAFER grant we requested for 6 additional firefighters. If awarded, would fund the salary and benefits to 6 firefighters for 3 years. We are hopeful of that in the next couple of weeks to hear something on that also. As you know, the priority this year is to replace fire hose. I've come to the council on 3 different occasions for approval. 2 were for AFG and 1 for CDBG funds. With these grants, I was able to replace all the fire hose totaling over $100,000. The city saved over $90,000 on equipment that is critical for our operation. I want to encourage everybody to sign up for Code Red. The sign up is on the city's website. Winter is approaching. It's a great way to notify residents in the event of a winter weather emergency and a snow emergency, so DPS can clear the snow from our streets. A new ambulance is in the final mock-up phase before its manufacture. Graphics are being finalized, and the unit is scheduled to be put on the assembly line December 6th. Delivery date is the end of January of 2025. I'll be coming to council once I have the final invoice for approval. This is a capital improvement for 2024 and 2025. Notable activities, the fire department open house is October 13th this year from 12 to 3. This year's message is smoke alarms, make them work for you. We are working on some special guests this year. Hooper and a couple of Detroit Pistons players may be coming, and Survival Flight may be landing on our front apron. And then there's the Exchange Club said that they would be there. State Farm will be there, and then we'll have, our normal hot dogs and chips and cookies and stuff. The fire department was awarded a fire station upgrade by the Detroit Pistons in Belfour. They are currently renovating the dorm room. The start date was September 9th, and we should be completed by open house. In the summer of 2025, the fire department will be celebrating 100 years of service, protecting the citizens and patrons of the city of Lincoln Park. The details are starting to come together. I'll be reaching out to the Historical Museum for photos and memorabilia. A 100-year rocker patch will be made, a brass plaque, and a department photo. There's some conversation about having a picnic or a formal dinner for this occasion on that day. Schools are back in session, and we will be going to each elementary school to do fire safety talks with grades K through 3. This is a great opportunity to teach the kids the dangers of household appliances like stoves, hot water heaters, dryer vents, overloaded extension cords, and fire pits. We also talk about smoke detectors and when to change the batteries. We teach them stop, drop, and roll. We teach them the importance of setting up a meeting place outside the home and crawling under smoke, and who to call if a fire or medical emergency happens. That's it. Any questions?
Chief, I do have one thing.
Yep.
It's not a question, it's a compliment. Been around to a lot of businesses, and your guys always get such good remarks about how not only do you help them get what needs to be done, but you give them tips on how to get things done quicker or the right way to do things. And your department always shines when I go out and talk to people, so I just want to say that publicly.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else got any questions for the chief?
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes.
Real quick, Chief, do you still give out smoke detectors, and if you do, what's the criteria?
So we are out of smoke detectors at this time. So next CDBG, I'll be requesting probably another $1,000 to $1,500. CDBG likes that program, and that's how I want to say over 4,000 smoke detectors we've given out in 4 years. So I'll be putting in that through CDBG.
What's the
coming
criteria,
up.
though?
Um,
It's over 60 or something? Was over?
So it's supposed to be over 60, but they do me no good sitting in the bay. So if anybody, a citizen comes and they need smoke detectors, I'm giving them out.
Thank you, Chief.
Hearing nothing else, we'll say thank you, and we'll move on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. It's now for citizens' communications. If anybody would like to see the body or speak to this body, you have 5 minutes, and it must be on city business. Anyone to step forward? Sure, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Debbie. In last meeting, I was happy to hear that they were working, Hennessy was working, trying to find out the problem with our flooding. When John was up here, I didn't quite get the address of where the street, where they found that issue. And I know that Hennessy's been out on our street and down River Drive, and they've been color coding the manholes. I'd like to know what that means. You know, things are going on, but we don't know the progress.
Okay.
So I need to know if need to be prepared for the next rain that we're going to get, you know?
Right.
Just like to know what's what.
Right. I know they are doing smoke tests throughout the area, and I know that they are marking the grounds so that they know where the smoke comes out, when the smoke comes out, all of that. That I know for sure. I don't know if John can give you any more information on that or not. You could see him after the meeting. He'll have much more information than I could.
Okay. Just want to stay on top of it because
Absolutely.
we don't want to go through it again.
And we are, no, you're not, and then we are working on it.
Thank you.
Nobody else?
No, there's someone coming.
Hello, my name is Asa Sales. 2 questions. One is the CDGB grant, is that the only money we have coming into the city?
No, the CDBG grant are federal funds that we receive. We have many other various sources.
Okay,
that we
and
receive.
then the other question is the city in a surplus or a deficit?
The general fund is in a surplus currently.
By how much?
7 million, roughly.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Richard Kudrak. Looks like all the speakers are going to be respectful this evening. You've heard me say this before, this water loss and basement flooding issue, this is not new. This has been going on for I don't know how many years. I'm one of the very fortunate ones. I've never had a flooded basement. So I don't know if this is a 5-year thing, a 15-year thing, a 20-year thing. I understand this mayor and council and John Kazoo and Hennessy is working very hard to make this stop. And it's difficult for me to sit here sometimes and hear people yelling and screaming at the only council that's really trying to make this a better place to live. So I do want to thank you for the effort that you're putting in, and I hope someday residents will tell you what a wonderful job you did instead of yelling at you about things that have been not right for 10, 15, 20 years. We're talking about those bins. I was just chuckling. There was a comment made about keeping a bin. I said if I had 2 bins and I knew somebody's coming out to collect bins, I guess I could just put one in my garage and say, well, I don't know what happened to the other one. So I'm sure you're not going to collect all the bins from all the houses because they're just not going to be available. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to talk to this body?
Sue Sacheta, Downriver Sunday Times. If you want to take a page out of Dearborn's book and you want to get in touch with everyone who uses a trash container, stick a note on every trash can where you peel off the top part and it has sticky solution on it, and that way you stick a note on every trash container that is put out each of the 5 days and tell them what you want them to know. So anyone who puts out a trash container that week will get a notice from you. So if they're putting out trash, they're going to get a notice on their can.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Thank you for everyone else. I just have a quick question. Is there a true plan to make stores within Lincoln Park, the downtown especially, the process of rezoning a commercial building more streamlined, more easy to do? I have stored for 2 years now trying to rent. I had 7 serious people who wanted to rent. They go to the city and they vanish. There is a requirement for $6,450. That's $2,550 for escrow, $2,800 for the cheapest architect, no insurance, no nothing, to do a plan, which is one of the requirement, and $1,100, which Laura, the commercial property coordinator, informed me of. That's over 7 months of rent. And no small business can afford that for paperwork. So I was hoping, is there any chance that we can collectively make that a lot easier, cheaper for people to turn around and rezone a store so that, the city can be more vibrant and we open more stores within the downtown?
I would suggest that you call and make an appointment with our city manager or our DDA director. Our DDA director is sitting in the back for any ideas. Both of them would be more than happy to talk to you, listen to your ideas, and we'll see what we can do. We are always looking to move things forward in our downtown area. The roads that tonight we approved so that the roads can be repaired in the downtown area. I know that's always been a big problem down there. And we are also working right now on new zoning rules. They are not done yet, but that is part of the government money that we are working on at this time.
Hope that changed. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to talk to this body? Okay, with that, we'll go on to Council President.
Thank you. I'll make this fast. First, thanks, Mr. Kujarak, for letting our residents give a heads up on their trash cans. Thank you. As a city councilman, I always promote Lincoln Park businesses, so I always say shop Lincoln Park. So in the last 2 weeks, I want you guys and our residents at home, please check out these wonderful stores down in Lincoln Park. Hello Records. Once again, I gave more records. They pay for records. Peter to Go. My wife owns stock in that. I know it because she's there 3 times a week. Vito's Pizza. McCaffrey's Bar and Grill. Los Arcos on Fort Park in Garfield. Los Charros on Goddard and Dix. This was there last week. This is in the last 2 weeks. San Blas on 4th Street and Gregory. The Antique Mall in Champaign and Dix. Great place to shop. The Park Restaurant downtown. Harry's Corned Beef this past Sunday. Great breakfast. 24-hour modernizing, so I get my nice shirts pressed. Ace Hardware, I've been there twice, got my keys fixed. The gas station on 4th Street in Moran, Sunoco, I get my lottery, my gas, and my popcorn there. And the BP on Fort in Cleveland, also, I get my gas and my lottery tickets there. So those are just some places to shop. People ask me from other cities, hey, let's go out to eat in Taylor and Southgate. I said, no, let's come to Lincoln Park. So that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Just remind people that if you want to have good shopping in Lincoln Park, you have to shop in Lincoln Park to keep our businesses going. Okay?
Well, I also was going to mention our esteemed fire chief and his appointment. Chief of Chief is quite a mouthful, and very, very proud of you, sir. Congratulations. It's an honor, and we're glad to have you in the city as a Chief of Chiefs, so well done. I'd like to also congratulate Detective Brown, who was awarded a letter of commendation today at the Police and Fire meeting. He was awarded a letter of commendation for an armed robbery suspect who was convicted and prosecuted, and this suspect received a 30-year plus sentence. So congratulations and thank you, Detective Brown, for your hard work. Officers Parker, Chambers, and Anderson all received department citations for finding a subject wanted in a stabbing in Brownstown. The officer chased the subject down, he ran and fought the officers. The subject was arrested and turned back over to Brownstown. These officers risked harms to themselves while taking in a dangerous subject off the streets. The police backpack giveaway was a great success. A lot of fun, too. I was there for a while. They were all happy, and it was just a great place to be. Mick Police Night was great. I won a cup that I really like. I went to garage sale weekend. It was wonderful. Some of these garage sales were set up so beautifully. People put so much time and effort into their sales. It was actually like going to little department stores. So thank you to the community for all your hard work, and I hope you all did wonderful. And it was just really nice chatting with so many people. 2 weeks ago, I was at the farmer's market. They had a corn roast. I had apple cider. They had a lot of vendors out there. It was a really beautiful day. So if you get a chance now till the end of October, please go visit our farmer's market because they are doing really, really good job this year. And that's about all I have. Enjoy the cooler weather that's coming. Be safe, watch out for kids. Please try to get out on October 12th to the MC5 event that's happening at the band shell. And just everybody stay safe and remember to vote on November 5th. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Lillian?
Thank you, Your Honor. My condolences to the Petrie family.
Yes.
What a beautiful family. I'm so sorry for their loss. Just a quick reminder, I know I mentioned this last time, but there are changes to the Police and Fire Retirement Board future meetings. For October, there is no meeting. November's meeting will actually take place on the 6th at 10 a.m., and then December's meeting will actually take place on the 4th at 10 a.m. I want to thank the Parks and Rec for a wonderful evening of music bingo. It was fun. If you've never done it before, I had never done music bingo before, and I love music, and it was really a good time. So if they do it again, I hope you will join in. The Wayne County Household Hazardous Waste Collection, I just want to remind you, the next one is October the 19th from 8 to 1, and that is at the Wayne County Community College on North Line Road in Taylor. And we have a birthday in the room. My husband is here, and I want to wish him a happy birthday. And that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Eric?
First, I'd like to offer my condolences to the Petrie family. Al Petrie Jr. was 1941 to 2024. The services tomorrow will be at the St. Stephen Episcopal Church in Wyandotte at 11 a.m. Also, our city assessor is working extremely hard right now, and they're just trying to keep up with everything. It is homecoming week this week for the high school, and I want you to know that Friday is the parade. We're going to try to work around the construction. I believe we have it worked out. And with that, I'd like to say good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to, I didn't get a chance earlier today, so I'd like to remind everybody, Parks and Rec has several big events coming up, one of which is Nightmare on 4th Street, Trunk or Treat every year. It grows bigger every year, and they're looking for some more trunks. Last year, we had over 1,000 kids, so come with your candy and be prepared. There will be lots of games for the kids this year. They are turning it into a total event for kids rather than for adults and kids, and they have a lot of plans. So please look out for the Parks and Recreation things that are coming. And with that, I'll call for the agenda. So move. All right.
Support.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Tobin?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Sor?
Yes.
And Mayor Higgins?
Yes.